did Shion Sono make this? Like, I straight up was like, there's no way. And like, I thought it was Shion Sono.
No,
like, I mean, I didn't
wasn't.
actually think it was Shion Sono, but I was like, this is a Shion Sono movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's good.
Hello.
It's like peeking everywhere. So.
Who's peeking?
The audio.
Stop peeking. I was going to count to 100, but you keep peeking. All right, let's hope this camera is focused this time. Are you focused? You're focused. Everybody, let's all focus. We got 2 cameras.
We're trying something new.
We're trying to make YouTube videos. That's something new for us.
I honestly don't know why we're here.
You know why we're here.
I don't know what we're about to talk
We're
about.
talking about the smash hit 2018 film Ghost Squad.
Okay.
So, we just got done watching this little movie called Ghost Squad.
I feel like I gotta change my hair.
You want to change your
I
hair?
feel like my hair is like
All right.
falling apart here.
It's ghost hair.
It's ghost hair.
Please hold.
So we're talking about Ghost Squad.
So Ghost Squad. All right. Do you want to describe Ghost Squad, or do you want me to?
Oh my goodness, I can do it.
All right. What is Ghost Squad?
My leg.
Ghost Squad it's a Japanese movie.
My arm. Even my fingers.
Ghost Squad's a Japanese movie about a bunch of female ghosts who want to seek revenge on the asshole males who killed them. And the only way they can interact with any corporeal objects is to utilize the life force of their friend Rika. I think that's the most spoiler-free, succinct way I can describe it. What would you describe this? Like, what genre would you put this movie as?
This movie, in terms of what's available on the English side of the internet, is sold as a horror comedy. It's more comedy than horror, and I think I would call it a comedy revenge film with a horror palette.
Okay,
Let's
I can
put it
see
that way. Like a paint job.
But like, there's also drama and romance.
That
so
is definitely true.
Like,
It's
what
a lot.
is this movie?
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's so good. It's so good.
It is.
I love this movie.
It definitely is. I guess I could be just lazy and call it an indie movie. Because
it is an indie movie, absolutely.
I feel like that's what happens though when people don't know what to say about things and they're like low budget or independent and they're just like, oh, it's an indie movie.
I will be fair and I will say that I think that is a good way to describe a movie like this, because I do think that this kind of movie does not appeal to the general audience.
You heckin' normies!
I do think people who generally prefer a more mainstream type of movie will probably not like this. I think they'll be like, what was the point? Or I'm confused. There are parts of it that like are ill-explained. But I think some people will be like, well, what about this? You know, and
Sure.
like they'll want to point out all the inconsistencies. And we all know someone like that who just, you're trying to watch a movie with them.
We all know why we don't watch movies with Chester anymore, and it's because he just nitpicks.
So, but you know, you have the person who's just like, well, what about this?
Yeah.
Because like that doesn't make sense for the thing about that thing, you know, like, but just 5 minutes ago they said this and that doesn't make sense with science. And it's just like, yeah, but we're watching a movie.
Right.
So I think if you have anybody in your life like that, avoid watching this movie with them.
Yeah. You know the meme, the like average X fan versus average Y enjoyer? So don't watch this with movie fans. But if you are a B movie enjoyer,
Yeah.
like it's low budget, it's full of humor, both intentional and sometimes unintentional, probably because of the way that it was made. It's extremely self-aware about its quality, and it doesn't take itself seriously at all. So if you're into B movies, but like B movies that end up being surprisingly poignant,
yeah.
yeah, this movie is for you.
Yeah, so like that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, if you are a B-movie enjoyer. I don't know, like, how do you say that? I don't know. If that's you, I think you'll like this movie. And I don't mean like if you watch B-movies because like they're terrible schlock and like, like this movie is, it actually tries to be a decent movie. It's just like, it's not like a blockbuster. You know, I don't know, how do I describe it? It's serious. But not in a taking itself serious kind of way. Oh,
absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
I don't know how else to describe it. It's like they actually cared about what they were doing, and you can tell.
Yeah. I think I came up with a comparison while we were watching it.
Okay. Does it involve ghosts?
No. Do you have a comparison that involves ghosts?
We could think of one on the spot, I guess.
I think so if we're trying to pitch this movie to people without spoiling anything, this feels like a early to mid 2000s Shion Sono film because it's relatively cheaply made. The special effects are really over the top in terms of their gore and blood and everything. But there's like a deep underlying sense there's a deeper, without spoiling anything, there's a deeper message to what is going on in spite of all of that insanity. And sometimes probably because of all of that insanity, let's be honest.
I was like, did Shion Sono make this? Like, I straight up was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was Shion Sono.
No,
like, I mean, I didn't
wasn't.
actually think it was Shion Sono, but I was like, this is a Shion Sono movie.
Yeah.
Like, it totally feels like it. Like a low budget. Like, so I totally thought that same thing.
So I guess with all of that being said, do you want to go into spoiler territory so we can get a little more specific?
Yeah, let's go into spoiler territory.
So if you haven't... The dog is freaking out.
I'm in a mood, I'm sorry.
This is streaming for free right now on both Tubi and Crackle. Both of them streaming free with ads. So if that sounds up your alley, go check it out. And if you've already seen it, or if that doesn't sound up your alley,
or if you don't care about spoilers,
then stick around.
Like, talking about the low budgetness of the movie.
Yeah.
And like, it was probably unintentional, because you had said it was probably unintentional, but like, if you are paying attention, you notice it. Like, so there's this scene, it happens a couple times, but they're like at a bar or something, and then they leave, like they exit the bar, and they're on this like long stretch of like empty road. Like, there's nothing around, and I'm just like, where is this bar? What is going on? And they use it a couple times. So I think that is like the evidence of it being a lower budget movie, but like, it's not a big deal. Like, if you're not paying attention to that kind of stuff, like the composition of scenes and things like that, like, you're not gonna notice it. Like, it was, but I was just like, where is this bar? What is going on? And like the CG effects, like we can talk about that. I mean, the CG is like, I could probably do the CG, maybe.
Probably.
I actually, while we were watching, I was like, oh, I bet they did that by doing this.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like, now that we've been editing videos for a few years, like, every time I watch something now, I'm like, how did they do that? You know, and I'm like trying to pick it apart. And if you ever want to watch movies and shows and anything without thinking about the way it was edited, never start a YouTube channel.
Oh, that's absolutely
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
There's basically what appears to be, according to the sound effect, a laser gun at one point, and then there is a handgun, and at one point the two are in a shootout, and they're using the same muzzle flare. I don't remember if they used the same sound effect as well. I think they used different sound effects, but they looked identical in spite of being completely different types of guns.
Yeah, they did. That illustrates the ways in which it was maybe lower budget. But then there are other parts that, like, there are practical effects, and they're like, they're freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like this would be such a fun movie to cosplay as a group.
Yes.
Like,
oh my gosh, as the Ghost Squad.
As the Ghost Squad, can you imagine that cosplay?
Let's give a moment. Okay, the person who did the wardrobe, I don't know, I didn't catch their name.
Yeah.
But the wardrobe for this movie was great. They're basically cartoon characters in that they all wear the exact same outfit for the entire length of the movie.
Yeah.
But if you want a crash course in how to design outfits so that they completely stand out from one another, and you can always tell which of the 4 or later on 5 members is doing something at any given time, this movie's like perfect for that.
It is, yeah.
In terms of the special effects and everything too, I wanted to mention, actually, we didn't know this going into this.
Okay.
But the director on this movie was a guy named Noboru Iguchi, which, unsubscribe, whatever. We have not watched any of his other movies. I know it's terrible, but I think he started in the late 90s, but especially in the 2000s, doing like splatter type movies with lots of blood and gore and stuff like that.
Okay.
One of his most famous is called The Machine Girl, which the musician who uses the name Machine Girl took the name from. He also did a bunch of adult videos, and he's even done some that are like a crossover where they're like adult themed, but they're splatter movies. So it's like blood and booby.
I can see that influence in this movie because there's definitely like, I mean, there's the whole like beginning sequence was very like gory, bloody, splattery.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
Which I will say, like after that it toned down. But there's also like the sequence like, I'm gonna take an air shower, you know?
Oh
so like,
my God.
that was the other thing I was gonna say. The other genre this movie should be in, LGBT+.
Yeah, happy Pride Month. I don't know.
Happy Pride Month!
This video is probably going to go up before Pride Month starts, but unintentionally...
Well, every month is Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. This movie, totally LGBT+, which was so amazing.
Because the entire main cast is composed of young women.
Female presenting.
Yeah, yes. And
if you want to say it that way.
They're fair. And
feminine presenting.
Most of the other characters are irredeemable, awful men, the men upon whom they are seeking revenge.
Yeah.
They're as you may gather from the entire main cast being composed of 5 female presenting individuals, and the talking earlier about air baths and
I'm like waiting with bated breath. What is happening?
Basically, there's a lot of kissing in this movie, and it's all women kissing each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes in order to stay alive.
Yeah.
Because it is plot relevant.
It is plot relevant that women kiss each other.
Yes.
But it never felt.
But it doesn't feel exploitative.
No,
right?
I never felt like it felt exploitative. I'm curious if any of you have watched it.
Yeah.
What if you think it was exploitative? I'm curious what you thought. I felt like it wasn't, and I'll say that because there was mention of sexual abuse and
a lot of mention of that.
And it was never shown.
Right.
There were opportunities for women to be shown like naked and being sexually abused and things like that. And it never happened.
No.
Like I felt like it was all implication, and I much prefer implication over just like, let's rip her clothes off and like be nasty and focus on her for 5 minutes for no reason other than I truly don't know a reason. Please give me one.
Right.
Please don't, actually. I don't want to know. There were uncomfortable parts, but I think that was in order to heighten the sense of your sympathy with the main characters.
I would agree with that.
So I felt like it was good.
At the end of the day, honestly, so you got this movie that's composed of a bunch of ghost girls who are coming back because the main character is like on the verge of death, and her being on the verge of the living and the dead worlds gives them power, and there's like some romance going on, and they're trying to get revenge on these guys and everything. But then at the end of I don't know why my voice just made that noise.
Your voice makes lots of weird noises, to be fair.
But then at the end, it's just like, oh, by the way, this whole movie was about how, you remember how the main character way back at the beginning was wanting to kill herself, life might suck sometimes, but you should still want to be alive. And I was like, what is going on?
I know, it was like, why?
But it didn't feel contrived.
No, it didn't.
It felt like it actually earned it.
It felt like it earned it, and it did, because it was like going through all these motions of why, like the ghosts go through all these steps of like, it sucks to be a ghost.
Yeah.
And like all this stuff that they have to do in order to complete their revenge, and like even grappling with whether or not, you know, killing the person who killed you is actually going to avenge you. And it was there, like, there was a lot of deep thought in this movie, and like, you don't have to watch it that way, but if you want to, it's kind of fun. Like, there's a lot you could talk about with this movie. Like, it could be like you watch it and then like, oh my gosh, let's have a conversation about it, you know?
Yeah. Like,
Can we-
subscribe.
Can we talk about the baby gun?
So in the course of the film, they take pieces of her life force in order to beef themselves up, and each of them receives a weapon. One of them gets a gun, one of them gets a hammer.
It's not a hammer.
Do you want to describe this?
It's a meat stick. It's a meat stick. It's a meat stick because she was sexually abused. So her weapon is a meat stick, and she uses her meat stick to destroy the meat stick of the person who sexually abused her. It's so poetic. It's like poetry.
It's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
And then what was... Oh! And then, okay, there's one of them was like, hey, being a human sucks. When I get reincarnated, I want to be a dog. But since they got stuck being a ghost, they're stuck in between being a human and a dog. Occasionally they confuse themselves for a dog, despite being in human form as a ghost. And so their weapon is... It's a dog. Their hand gets replaced with a dog.
So the final weapon is the holy weapon. What was it called?
It was the holy weapon.
Holy weapon? It was the holy weapon that is from hell. That
it's like used to torture the worst people.
It's used to torture the worst people in hell, which is just a whole thing to think about. And the holy weapon is, it's a gun. It's this giant like RPG kind of shaped gun, but it has this big old funnel, and in the funnel is a baby head. It's a baby's head that's crying, and when you shoot the gun, it's like making baby sounds.
And anyone who's hit by it, they get overcome with, like, it makes them feel guilt for anything wrong that they've done.
Yes, exactly.
So
they shoot all of the people who murdered them, and they are now wrought with their guilt.
Right. None of them get killed. But they're left as like wrecks.
Yeah.
I guess my interpretation was that it's making them revert back to a state before they lost their innocence, so they still have their memory of all the things that they did wrong, but they regain their innocence.
Yeah, like, I kind of that's how I interpreted it as well. That, like, because we kind of talked about that a little bit, and I think I feel the same way. Just like a regression, but they still know what they did, and so that's why they're just completely overcome with the guilt. But yeah, there's so much in this movie. There is so much, and it's only like an hour and 45 minutes, and I swear it was just like, we would watch 15 minutes and then it felt like we were watching a whole other movie. And then it was like, what is happening now?
That is true.
It was a lot of whiplash. I will say I don't want to like say like there's anything negative about this movie, but there are a few parts that like, there was one scene where some of the ghosts had used their weapons on some of the guys, and like their faces got all distorted and everything.
Yeah.
And I felt like they got their faces distorted and then they just came back and their faces were normal. And I didn't like, maybe I missed something. Like, I just felt like I didn't quite understand how that all played out. I'm a little fuzzy on like cast size and roles and everything.
Yeah.
I'm a little fuzzy on that. I will say that. But it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things I can overlook. Maybe some other people can't, but I felt like I could overlook it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the only other thing I want to talk about is that the music in this is amazing.
Yes.
That's all I have to say. It's just amazing.
It was very good.
If you watch it, just pay attention to the music and enjoy it.
And then it ends with a theme song sung by The
yeah.
cast of the Ghost Squad.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was a treat.
It was such a treat.
Yeah.
If you want just a fun time, like, I don't think you even need to watch it in like Halloween time or anything like that. I mean, it could be a really fun like get together during Halloween time. Let's watch this movie kind of movie. But like, frankly, this was just a fun movie, and I would say the horror element of it is very lax. Feels a lot more like action drama. Comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but I get the horror element. I do get it because they are ghosts. One of my favorite parts of this movie was the composition of the shots.
Oh my gosh, yes,
And
that too.
the composition was really awesome, but then they would be the ghosts can't be seen by any other people. And so there were times where it was Rika and like she was talking to one of them, and then the camera would change, or even just like it would like do like a person flip person, and then when it flipped, the person would be gone, and there would be people walking by just watching Rika talk to herself and things like that. I liked that. I thought that was really good, subtle humor.
That was good.
I will say there was one part where she was in the bar talking to the ghosts, and the one of the guys is like right in front of her, and she's talking to the ghosts, and he's like not reacting to the fact that she was talking to the ghosts.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little like,
Favorite scene, I had to think about it, but I think the flashback to when the girl who practiced ballet died. The person with whom she gets kidnapped and her dog are both there as well, and they kill the other guy, and then she's like, I'm gonna dance one more time for my dog and for my Onisan. And I don't know, just something about that scene, something about like the composition of it and something about the composition of it and everything. I think that was the moment where I was like, I feel like there's something deeper going on in this movie.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there totally was.
Yeah. If you've seen Ghost Squad, let us know in the comments below what you thought of it. Again, this is our first movie by Noboru Iguchi. Which other ones of his should we check out? Because I know he's made a bunch of movies, and I know a good number of them are like cult classics of people who like these kind of crazy extreme movies. We're back, baby. Happy Pride Month again, or something.
Happy Pride all the time.
Yeah. I don't know how to end videos.
We're back. Let us know what you think of this format.
Yeah.
We're trying something new. Y'all, we have dealt with so much crap with copyright everything. It is a nightmare. It is draining. It is, it leads to very instantaneous burnout. And we're trying something different. We're trying something that hopefully we won't have to deal with that anymore. So if you all were here for our video essays, we still want to try to do those, but maybe in a different format like this, where we're a little bit more, candid?
Yeah, a little more off the cuff, a little more improvised.
Yeah,
maybe.
there's still, we're still doing the research. We still have all the information in our heads, about what we would normally talk about. It's just, y'all, it's been a lot. So, hopefully you understand. If not, it's all good. We get it. And get used to our faces, because that's the new way it's gonna be, y'all.
And hopefully, with what we've got cooking, you'll be seeing them more often once again.
I think so, yeah.
Hopefully this dry spell is over.
Yep.
We got some more stuff coming. We got, like Kylie said, we got a little bit of a new format type thing coming up. In addition to these just like review type videos.
Yeah, because that's the heart of the channel.
Yeah.
We actually talk about movies.
Yes. So smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Ring the bell so hard that it causes a sonic boom.
Like, comment.
All that. Share it.
I don't know.
Nihongo Jozu.
Do your best. Ganbatte.
Good night, everybody.